Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach. Today, we're thrilled to welcome two-time Run for a Million non-pro qualifier Kailey Hale. Growing up as the daughter of a horse trainer, Kailey witnessed firsthand the dedication it takes to reach the top. Recently, she faced an unexpected setback, an accident that led to a surgery that put her 2024 goals on hold. Kailey, can you share what your aspirations were before the injury and how you turned this challenge into fuel for even bigger dreams and new events this year?
Gosh, Lauren, okay. Starting out real strong, aren't we? The Run for the Million, of course, is a huge honor. We started watching it in I think it was 2019, I believe is.
Yeah, when they started it.
Yeah, when they started it. And it was just the most incredible horse experience I had ever been. And then they finally opened it up to non-pros, which I think was incredible. And then rookies.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
cool.
Kind of gives everybody a little bit of the taste of that magic. So when I got my mare almost 2 years ago, that was definitely something that I wanted to focus on once we kind of got the baby out of her. Got her as a redshirted 4-year-old and, worked through the kinks with that. And so in 2024 at Cactus, I told my mom, who's my coach, I said, I really want to go after the million. And she was all for it. So got qualified, honestly, by the grace of God. It was pouring rain at Cactus. I didn't hear the announcer call my number. So I basically came running from like way back 40 all the way up into the warm-up pin into the ring. And I somehow made the 5th spot, which it's great because you made it.
Wow.
Yeah. So don't ever do that. Always make sure that you know where you are in the set because
Yeah.
I don't recommend to do that. But so we got qualified. It was great. Didn't have the best derby at Cactus, but hey, we made the accomplishment of getting qualified, and that was my goal to prep from March until August of 2024 to get really prepared for the million. You normally do need a 73, 73 and a half, even a 4 or 5 to win it. And those are the best girls out there with the best horses. So I knew I had a lot of homework to do. And yeah, I prepared, and unfortunately with my surgery, it was on my left hand, which I do ride with my left hand, and I didn't really feel that the level that I needed and what my mare needed, I couldn't do it with my right. So we weren't able to show. So it was a real big blow. And my barn members also had an injury that kept the youth rider out. Her horse got injured. She actually got injured as well on a separate account. And then the other rider just didn't want to go by herself. So 2024 wasn't a great experience for us with the million. So did I answer some of that?
Yeah, for sure. Tell us a little bit more about your injury and the surgery that you had.
Yes. My partner and I have a rehab business called The Spoiled Pony. It's a therapy business. We do cryotherapy, PEMF, and equine massage. We offer it to horses, riders, dogs. And when this certain horse was injured unexpectedly, we offered our services because she's in our barn. We wanted to get her healed up as fast as possible. And she's a little bit silly. She's a little silly. So I gave her certain drugs and it wasn't enough. And I went to lead her out of the stall and she reared up, and the lead rope is what broke my finger.
Oof. Ow.
Oh. Yeah. I had my wedding ring on, which I never do.
Of course, the one day.
Yeah, the one freaking
The one day. The one time.
I usually have like the silicone rings.
Yeah, that's what I do when I go to the barn.
Yeah.
I will not wear my ring to the barn.
Well, let me tell you, don't ever wear it because
Yeah, I'm not planning on it.
it might happen to you. And so I honestly thought it was dislocated, even though it was completely like no.
Ooh.
But no, I remember this very clearly. My mom was giving a lesson and I was like, no, I'm not going to go up to her and say, is my finger broken? So another trainer at our barn, I walked up to her and she's like, Kailey, it's definitely broken.
Definitely broken.
So I go to urgent care. I should have gone to the ER because that was my first mistake. They're like, "No, you don't need surgery." Was then referred to ortho about a week later, and they were like, "Hey, you need surgery, like, tomorrow."
Wow.
And I'm like,
Oh my
Wow.
god.
"Whoa, whoa, 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 like, time out. What do you mean?"
You're like, "What do you mean?"
Like
You're like, they told me over here I was
yeah,
fine. What do
yeah,
you mean I need
yeah,
surgery?"
and, I'm like, "Guys, I have a huge competition in 4 weeks." They have in
Oh my
July
gosh.
13th, so fast forward a week, which I think is, like, the 18th or 19th, and they wanted to put me in surgery, like, that next day.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a 7 o'clock appointment in the morning on a Tuesday. Like,
Wow. So random.
I am not ready for this. My husband was also not ready for it as well.
Oh my
He was in the room
gosh.
and he was just like, "Oh my god, like, what are you gonna do?" And so I asked the question to the doctor. I said, "Well, what if we don't do surgery now? Can I still compete?" Here I am thinking that I can muscle my
Typical horse girl.
totally. Yeah. And he's like, "Well, you can wait, but we'll have to break your entire hand if you wait
Oh.
after."
Oh.
Yeah. I think it was, like, the 12th or 13th that I would show, so it'd be, 4
Wow.
weeks, and I'm like, "Oh, crap," because I still had other derbies planned. I was supposed to show at High Roller and cat or and
Wow.
all the others. It was just so I listened to my body and prayed about it, and, yeah, I scheduled surgery that next day or so. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, honestly, like, props to my doctor, like, he actually encouraged me to ride. He's like, "If you feel that you can ride, like, go for it." So, I
Wow.
didn't because I was in a lot of pain,
Mm.
but, he was at least, like, gung ho about it. He's like, "Yeah, girl, like, go for it if you want to, if you think that you can." And, listening to my mom slash coach, first she's my mom, and she's like, "Kaylee, you can't do this. You have to be at your best, and can you bring your best?" And the answer always concluded to no. And it was heartbreaking, but, you know, I've always been taught, my grandparents were trainers, my mom's a trainer. This world that we are so wrapped up in, physically, emotionally, financially, it's a made up world. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many titles you or I get. It matters, taking care of your body and putting your priorities first. And so I needed to make sure that my hand was going to be okay.
So, what was that experience like, kinda having to be okay with it and say, "You know what? I have to put myself first. I have to put my goals and my aspirations for," because, like you said, it's this hobby that we do,
Right.
Not consuming, but it is a hobby, it's not our life.
It's not
Even
our
if we
life.
make it about,
Yeah,
lives all about it,
sure.
it is our health has to come
It
first.
has
So
to. Yeah.
what was that like for you, like,
Oh,
having to change that mentality?
not easy. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm definitely not gonna sugarcoat it. I mean, there were many, many tears. I cried with my mom. I cried with my husband. My dad, who hates to see me cry, because we've been prepping for this since March. And
Yeah.
and really even before then, because, I felt that, hey, we could start really rocking and rolling with this and mark those high scores that would allow me to do well. So, it was really disappointing. And then just kind of flipping right to it going, "Okay, I need to be able to ride as soon as I can," which I think I took about 4 weeks off. I think I started riding right around my birthday, which is August 31st. So, because I needed to start prepping for high roller. So, I rode in Ramel's for like 2 or 3 weeks with my right hand because I couldn't fully grip with my left. And then, yeah, then we went to high roller and did really well. So,
What did you do for rehab for your hand?
everything. I have a cryotherapy handheld machine that also is with the Spoiled Pony, so had full access to that, and then I did my MagnaWave on it, which is PEMF, and just tried to really take care of it. Did some PT on it as soon as I was released for PT, and it's really funny. You would think these stupid little exercises with like the teeniest tiny kettlebell doesn't do anything, but it really helped me regain some strength. And I mean, even now, like as I'm squeezing my hand, like it's still I don't cringe anymore gripping it. So it is healing, and it's supposed to take almost a year to fully heal. Like
Wow.
I can't even wear my wedding ring quite yet. I will have to get it.
Oh, no.
I know. We'll get it resized like when I get home from thermal, but it could have been much worse. As a client of my mom said, she's like, "Well, at least it wasn't your head, Kaylee."
Yeah,
I mean, you
still
were right.
talking here, so
You
that's
were still
exciting.
right.
So so when you decided to go to high roller after the surgery, after beginning this PT process
Yep.
and knowing that your hand wasn't quite as strong as you were used to, that you
Uh-huh.
wanted, mentally, how did you compensate and overcome that to be able to then show at the high roller and not only just
Mm,
participate, but qualify again for 2025? Good girl.
thank you. Yeah, I keep giving props to my mom, but my mom is really good about, like, the mental game. She's like, "Go play your own golf game, and don't feed the bad wolf," because we all can, not necessarily positive thinking and put it out in the universe, that's not what she's saying, but just trying to control what you can control, like making sure to keep your hand in PT, do your exercises. And I did school a lot with my right hand right before I went in, and then I would switch to my left. So, and adrenaline is a beautiful thing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
kind of forget that it hurts when you're flying in those big fast circles. But I don't know if this should make the podcast or not, or if this is too TMI, but my hand was really sweaty. Just this hand, I remember it was very sweaty when I horse showed. No, my right wasn't, but my left was really, really sweaty, which was really gross.
Have
Now that I'm
you
thinking about it, but it was kind of a healing thing, I think. It was just trying to figure
Yeah.
it out. But I had never had that before. I mean, I'm not one that has, like, sweaty palms or anything, but I did notice that coming out of the arena, and I'm like, "Ew, that's kinda weird."
That is so
It
strange.
is.
Yeah.
I did also there is a guy that I've known since, I don't know, I was in diapers. He's a horse show vendor, but his name is the Animal Cracker. I don't know if you've guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason.
JC, he's the best. So told him what was going on. He actually shockwaved my finger. Now, it hurt, but I
Oh, I bet.
swear to God, it was the best thing I did all week for it because it broke up the fascia and, like, the
Yeah.
weird scar tissue that I had built.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that helped kickstart even more of the decreasing of the inflammation to help me be able to regain strength.
I have more questions about your rehab. I'm a personal trainer and
Yes.
I've had my own injuries and I've had clients that have
Mhm.
had injuries and stuff like that. I've never had anybody had some sort of a hand injury. What is the rehab like? Cuz that's very rehabbing a hand because there's not much muscle.
Right.
That's very different from rehabbing like a back or a leg or
Uh-huh.
an arm or something like that. Like I assume that you do like normal physical therapy type exercises, but you said that using the shockwave helped with, like, breaking up the fascia and everything.
Uh-huh.
I know that when I've had to go and do physical therapy and they've had to break up fascia, they'll use, like, a Graston tool. Did they use that on your hand at all?
No, no, they never used
Okay,
that, but
lucky,
it was
'cause that hurt.
I can imagine, like, yeah, I would
Uh,
probably run away. Um, they did some really weird exercises. I mean, if you picture if, like, hold up your hand, my finger always wanted to be a little bit bent, even right after
okay.
surgery, and it was just because all the tendons and ligaments in there were just completely verklempt. Uh
Yeah.
And so they really worked on stretching it. It kind of almost looked like a block of cheese, if you will. It was this big black that's kind of what it was, and, like, they would have me, lift my one finger and isolate everything else and do little, like, hand lifts with a kettlebell, like, again, the teeniest tiny kettlebell you would ever see, and I'm trying to think what else. I haven't done it since October, so I'm trying to remember. Yeah, just some weird stuff. Playing with putty too, as that also helped.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
just some really
Yeah.
ridiculous things, and I'm like, "Are you serious? We're gonna do this for an hour?" And they're like, "Yeah, this is what we're doing." And they were
Oh
they
my
were
gosh.
amazing. Like, they're a good crew that I had, so.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats, we have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Elevate Your Ride. We're so excited to continue helping you elevate your performance in the saddle. To keep bringing you quality content and information, we're asking you to help us. Tell your friends about us on our podcast, like and share a meaningful quote you saw on our social media, write us a review on Spotify or Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group and ask all your health and fitness questions, or maybe post a success story to motivate another amateur. Your engagement really helps us support and encourage the equestrian community. We're also inviting sponsors and supporters to help us build our show. As a sponsor, starting at just $150, you'll receive marketing on our podcast, website, and growing social media platforms for your business. It's the perfect way to connect with the equestrian community and showcase your brand to our dedicated listeners. And for our supporters, your $50 contribution gets you a shout out on our social media and website. Every bit of support really helps fuel the show and helps us inspire and motivate equestrians. So, if you're interested in learning more about that, you can scroll down to the show notes of this episode and look for the Become a Supporter or Become a Sponsor links and click on those to get some more information. Thank you for listening. We can't wait to continue expanding our platform and helping you elevate your ride. What differences did you notice from doing any of the cryo, the
Oh,
PEMF, like that sort of stuff?
so of course I couldn't do the cryo instantly because I still had stitches. But
Mm.
as soon as like I mean, of course I did the PEMF as soon as I
Yeah.
was able. It definitely helped the swelling for sure. And then as I got closer to high roller because I had my stitches out, I was able to take the handheld cryo and just kind of roll it through my hand and try to get some of the pain out because the cryo would numb all the nerve endings that says, "Ouch, this hurts." So if I can numb that for a couple hours and go ride and then do the PEMF, it really helped. I will say.
Did you try riding with your right hand at all during like the rehab or anything?
Not my horse, but yeah, I actually right before surgery, I swung on one of my mom's really kind lesson horses that's a reiner, and I was like,
Mhm.
"I don't know if I can do this."
Isn't it funny how we get so used to our riding hand and then to switch, it's like, I
It's
don't know.
like the end of
Well, and,
yeah.
I broke my elbow in 3 spots when I was 18 doing something very dumb, which I don't even wanna get into. It was a stupid horse thing, but shouldn't have even gone in there.
You know what's
Um,
funny? I've also broken my elbow
uh
from a stupid horse thing.
Girl, yeah.
Yeah,
Our
damn
brains weren't
horses.
developed fully is what I say, so well, it's not Android.
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, I broke that, and it was, of course, my left arm, and I was getting ready for the
Yep.
challenge, but, again, this was not the million. I rode and showed and did well, with my right, but it was not fun. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, I definitely sat there when, after work because we don't live far from the barn, so I'd, sit and watch my mom give lessons, and I would literally take a bridle and a thing of reins and just move them back and forth with my right hand to see how fast I could get in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
I was
Yeah.
wasn't very good. Oh,
well, you
and
tried. Well,
I
good for
really
you.
did. I mean, I sat on, like, one of the saddle stands and, kind of tried to mock roll back yeah, it was a mess, so and, when push comes to shove, like, my mom being my mom, she's like, "What happens if she falls? What are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I'm like, "Okay, well, when you put it that way, yeah." I mean, she's Bridget is a very talented beast. She's one of the most talented horses I've ever sat on, but she's a little menace to society some days. Like, and especially at South Point, like she does not like that in gate. She thinks the South Point banner is a horse eating monster. So,
I don't blame her.
well, I
That tunnel can be scary.
oh my gosh, she's perfect in the tunnel,
Oh,
but
that's so
you
funny.
close
Doesn't care
that
about the tunnel.
yeah, you close that dang end gate and it's like I mean, we've loped past it for, I don't know, 17 hours. But on that 18th hour, she's like, "Oh, not today." And I'm like, "Oh,
Not
come
today.
on, Bridget, like, get your life
Horses.
together."
That's so
So,
funny.
yeah,
So, how's your hand now?
it's really good. I'm actually able to crack my knuckles almost all the way without pain. I know that sounds kind of weird, but
But it's a normal thing.
it is a normal thing, and, like, I actually did it like, not thinking about it, driving home, I don't know, like, a week ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, that almost didn't hurt." So,
Wow.
um
That's cool though. That's
yeah,
progress.
it is progress and, like, doing the MagnaWave on a bunch of these thermal horses and stuff, I mean, I notice a huge difference in that. I feel like the swelling continues to go down. Now, is it ever gonna be the same? No, but I think it's gonna be something where I don't think about, hopefully, in the next couple months. And I notice I don't protect it that much anymore. Like, I was so overprotective of it since what, August to December, I feel like, because it just I don't know. I was always afraid to hurt it.
Yeah. So did you notice since you were protecting it, did you notice any other like negative compensations? Like did your left shoulder start to ache more? Did your left hip start to hurt more? Like anything like that at all?
Hmm, that's a good question.
Like how
Well,
did your body compensate for it at all like in a negative way?
I don't think so. Unless or I
You're
just was
lucky then.
completely obvious like, oblivious to that. So, I'm gonna say no, but I mean, I feel like since I do have access to cryo and PEMP, any type of body ache we have, we usually just like, "Hey, can you spray can you spray my shoulder down real quick, or can I lay on the PEMP for 5 or 10 minutes and then I'll
Yeah.
go?" So, I think I never let it get to a point of, "Oh my god, ow."
Yeah, no, that's really cool because a lot of times, like you said, when you have something that's injured, you try to protect it. And
Sure.
so sometimes by protecting it, you can hurt or injure or cause pain somewhere else.
You bet.
So I would imagine that a lot of that did have to do with all the therapies you were doing throughout your hand. So you're really lucky that you didn't have anything else like that develop. So
I
that's really
know.
cool.
I know. No, it was a good
Yeah.
thing.
So sometimes I have clients who go through something similar, like a bad sickness and injury, something like that, where it kind of throws them off their normal routine and kind of away from their goals. And something that I always tell them is that there's always a silver lining, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a reason why this had to happen. Have you had any, like, have you seen what that is yet? I
Mm,
know it's a deep question.
have I seen that yet? You know
Yeah, like, have you seen, like, a reason as to why this had to happen?
uh, you know, I wish I knew. I'm a very, like, religious person, so I have always been, it's God's timing, and I wish there was some, like, "Oh, yeah, that's why we didn't go," but for some reason, the million just wasn't in the plans this past year, and he probably just wanted, me to heal up a little bit more, and, I think it's kinda great because I get to talk to you guys about it, and,
Yeah.
had some other little cool opportunities from Lauren and a horse trader cover that I got out of this story, so I don't know, uh
So maybe you can inspire others who are
yeah,
going
there you go. There you go,
well,
inspiring others, like I was telling Lauren, I mean, I'm always in the money, but, I haven't won a world title yet. I've been very close. I hope to one day I can add that to my tool belt and say, "Yeah, I'm a world title holder." Um, but, I'm a trainer's kid. I work really hard, at what we do,
well,
and
and I think what's really cool about this situation too is you've been able to say, "Okay, there's another horse show, and there will be an
absolutely.
show. So if I miss one, even though it's the one I've been dreaming and preparing for,
Yeah,
there will be another." And then look at you, like, I know I said it earlier, but to be able to come back at that first horse show back, then re-qualify, like, to come back with a vengeance, and you could kind of have a slight relief of, like,
yeah,
"Okay, that's my dream is still alive, and I can do it again, and this
yeah.
time I have even longer to prepare for it,"
For
right?
sure. Yeah. I mean, that was, I think, one of the first classes that I was like, "Oh, yeah," because I was gonna prep for the derby and then get that class out of my way. And you know what? Shout out to Brumley Management. Sean and Kelsey, they are the most wonderful people. Sean I've known my entire life. Our families go way back, and so does Kelsey. They were so supportive of me taking care of myself, and I actually had up until, like, the day before to let them know if I was going or not. So, shout out to Brumley because they were able to take a lot of that pressure off of going, "Oh, crap, like, I need to let them know now," and push my body to something that maybe wasn't gonna be ready for it, which in terms, it really wasn't. I don't know, just everybody seemed to rally around me one way or the other, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this show season. I feel ready and ready to go try to go kick some butt.
Yeah. So with the Rainers, I
Mhm.
know that we kind of school them a little more often than, let's say, we do in the all around
Yeah.
classes. Well, when you know that you have a huge goal in August, how do you know when you're going to step into the pen and say, hey, I'm building towards August versus saying, I am going to go for it this time? And do you think that mentally you prepare yourself differently for each of those situations?
Yeah, I definitely I think that's like a three-parted question. So the mental, I would say I'm trying to think how to put this into words. You're asking a lot of good questions today.
We
So
came prepared.
You did. Um, I've always been taught save a little bit for tomorrow, and in my
Mhm.
personality, I do tend to play it safe. I will say that has kind of hindered me in my youth years. Not making the youth finals because I kind of played a little too safe. So I think as I've matured into and continue to mature into the writer that I'm still becoming, just kind of going, all right, save a little bit for tomorrow. And then, like, for instance, the Derby at High Roller, I rode the hide off of her in a good way. It was honestly like one of the first times I really felt her and I in complete sync, which you guys both know how incredible that feeling is. Like, yes,
Oh, it's no better feeling.
there's no better feeling, like, I walked out of there and I was in complete tears, in good tears, like,
Oh.
because, like, it was so much emotion. I mean, it was the fact that I could actually, like, go in, do a great pattern, and, like, she's always been a little sticky on her right turn, and we really biffed it at Cactus in the Derby with that right turn. So, from Cactus all the way up to then, like, we had been really honing in on that right turn, and her right turn was fantastic. And so just, it finally all coming together, that was a really cool moment.
yeah, like you said, there is no better feeling than walking out of the arena and being like,
That was
"We were
awesome.
completely together,"
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And regardless of the score, I mean, of course, I felt I could have probably marked up a little bit more, but, the fact that, like, I was proud of that run was, something really special.
Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pen anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and am here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencervelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Hi, everyone. It's your personal trainer, Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopeanddowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
But knowing that you sometimes safety up, which, hey, I'm totally guilty of that as well.
Yeah.
How are you kind of gonna prepare for that for the run for the million when you don't want to have that safety gear on?
I think just talking my way through it and in like really visualizing my pattern. We usually get to know the patterns, I think, at least a month or two before. So, just going through each maneuver and going, okay, I can push her up here. I need to bring her back a little bit more here. And I'm definitely one to watch film. Like I go back and watch all my show videos or show clips and kind of nitpick at those. I think did I answer your question?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and just kind of how when you say that you talk through it, who do you talk through it kind of with
Gosh,
yourself
usually
mentally or
myself.
um,
Usually myself and I talk back. So
"Hey, I do the same thing." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you
no,
more
I
that,
mean,
you need
I
less
mean,
here."
a lot of the time too, like, I'll go through it with my mom too and be like, as a trainer's kid, let me just preface this, like, we usually school our own through and through. Once in a while, we'll get lucky and someone will hop on our horse to fix it, but, we're kind of our own trainers some days, at least mounted. So when I've got a question or something, be like, "Mom, can you watch this?" And she'll be like, "Yep, you're doing great. Like, keep doing what you're doing." I'm like, "Are you sure? Like, I don't feel good enough."
Yeah, you probably have to learn to trust yourself a lot on that, right? And trust your horse, trust your instincts.
Oh, man. Yep. And that's funny that you bring that up. Like, that was such my grandparents were my coaches until I was about 18, and unfortunately, we lost them a while ago. But my grandma would always say this. She was always my back gate girl. She would always kind of pat me on the leg and go, "Okay, trust yourself, trust your horse," and off I'd go. So that's definitely something that I keep in mind and keep close to my heart.
Yeah, that's such a blessing that that was instilled at you in a young age, right? Because that is one of the most important things is to trust that you've done the work and
Mhm.
you know that you did the work. So just go out there and show it.
Yeah. And if it doesn't come out right, like, and I have definitely struggled with this mentally in the past, like, feeding that bad wolf, coming out of the ring and go, "Crap, like, I should have done XYZ," or, just not being nice to yourself because there's so many different factors involved, I think, in showing, and at the end of the day, there's a little luck involved in any of it. I mean, it is there's so many factors. So I definitely try to make a grateful list and go, wow, the fact that I can actually show this caliber of animal and the fact that we made it here safely and are able to show that, I try to just continue to remind myself that we are really blessed to be here just to compete. And hopefully it goes well. And if it doesn't, then hey, there's always next time.
I think that that's a really important piece of information to remember when you're going through like a tough time or having a bad day at a show, or you're trying to get maybe a little bit more competitive than you and your horse are able
Mhm.
to. Because naturally, we do that as competitors, right?
Sure.
Sometimes we'll try to push ourselves and our horses past what we know we or they can do. And so it's important to take a step back and be like, I get to do this, not I have to do this. So
Yeah,
it can be hard to remember that in the moment, but it is really important.
for sure. Yep. And the horses always come first. I mean, my family's
Oh,
really
yes.
been a huge, that has been a huge campaign. I mean, we still have one reiner that's 26 this year and still competing. I mean,
That's
she's a
impressive.
legend. Like,
Yeah.
and her
I
owner,
love that.
yeah, her owner is 87 this year, and she showed at Cactus last year and gave us all probably a little gray hair. Honestly, I think we were all really stressed, but you know what? That horse is, one in a billion. So just,
That's so cool.
the care of the horse and always making sure that they get the care that they deserve. And yeah.
So what are you doing to prepare for the run for a million mentally and physically? Like, how are you gonna get your mind and your body at peak performance for August?
Oh, well, I really want to take it step by step. We've got at least a big derby in March at the Cactus that I really want to hone in on and see how well I can do and kind of push the envelope a little bit more. This is probably like what I should let me back up. This horse caliber wise, like I've never shown in the derbies and the aged event stuff because we were always waiting for that type of horse to come into our life. So that's why my lifetime earnings are 12,000 right now, which is great, but it's not, 145,000 like a lot of people my age that have been showing for 30 years. So, with that said, doing the Cactus, I want to see how what we can do there. I want to try to, mark some big scores, and then we'll move to a couple of local shows, kind of do my homework there. Whatever comes out of Cactus, I can kind of fine tune and retune if need be. And I think that goes for mental and physical, keeping my mare up in shape. I mean, we're the type of barn that like doesn't sit there and drill, 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 drill. Like they only have so many stops. They only can turn so fast for so long. So, just keeping them legged up, and we'll see what happens at the horse show. I don't know. I think that's kind of the game plan.
Did you find that you were putting extra pressure on yourself when you realized how nice your mare was and that she was the most talented one that you've been able to step into the show pen with?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think as a trainer's kid, you always will put that subconscious pressure on yourself. I mean, at least I in talking to other trainers' kid, not to put words in other trainers' kids' mouths, but you're always gonna have that brand on your back. And not to say that my mom or, my family puts pressure on me, because I think they know how much pressure I put on myself. So, yeah, and the fact that I had this incredible opportunity kind of fall in my lap, yeah, I definitely had to go, "Okay, I need to calm down for a minute and really figure this horse out," because she had never really been shown when I bought her, and so there were some definite kinks. There were
Yeah.
some definite kinks in there. Yeah.
It's so what were the steps or kind of stages that you went through in telling yourself like, "Hey, you know what? I can do this and I'm talented enough to be on this horse and I'm more than capable of being able to show her to her best abilities."
I think I'm just obnoxiously hard-headed when it comes to that stuff, and
Oh,
it's a good thing and a bad thing. I think just I mean, my mom and I went on the road for, oh gosh, I think almost 6 months, and we just kept horse showing and kept fine-tuning and really just trying to put more miles on her, and putting miles on myself too, because, Lauren, as you
mhm.
know, like, it's a different ball game from you competing at the Derby or competing at Burbank. Like,
Oh,
those
yeah.
are those are 2 completely different things. So, me being kind of the homegrown kid that has definitely shown nationally, but I have not shown in that type of spotlight where I'm like, "Oh, these patterns are no joke. Like, these girls they don't hold back. Like, these are level 4 open horses with non-pro riders on them." And it's just that learning curve going, "Okay, I need to figure out how to step up my game without blowing the wheels off."
Yeah. Yep.
So, I think I definitely got to that point last year right before I got hurt, because I was marking 4s on her, which I was stoked. I'd never marked 4s before. So, the fact that, we got to do that, and yeah, I think just keep on keeping on.
Absolutely. It sounds like it's gonna be a really exciting year for you,
Oh,
and that
oh.
you're yeah, mentally and physically, you're 100% on track. Are you doing anything with your hands still to try to get it more, or are you pretty happy with the level of strength that you've
Yeah,
regained?
I'm pretty darn happy with it, and, like, I don't even think about it when I ride. I mean, once in a while, like, if I take a horse two-handed and, like, hit it just right, like, it'll kind of go, "Oh, hey, it's still healing," but nothing like it had been in the past.
Are you a little nervous that something like that could happen again? Like, do you ever, like, look at your mirror and,
Well,
like, kinda subconsciously think, like, "Oh, but, like, some today could be the day something bad can happen again?"
I try not to, but I mean, I definitely, like I said before, you gotta know who your handlers are, and I mean, not that my finger was an issue with the handler, because that was me, but just slowing down a little bit, taking a little bit more precaution. I definitely think, an ounce of what is it? An ounce of what is the saying? I'm totally an ounce of cure.
Prevention
Wait,
prevention is better than
here you go.
I've never heard of that saying
Oh my
before.
god,
I have no
hold on.
idea what you guys are talking about. I've never heard of that before. That's a new
it's a
one for
good
me.
one.
So,
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
yeah, there you go. So, that's my
Yeah.
story.
I think this was so good. Thank you, Kaylee, for being so expressive and sharing so many details because I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to this. And then, like we talked about, of saying, okay, you know what? Just because we missed one doesn't mean there's not going to be another horse show. And you're just a
Agreed.
prime example of that because you didn't let it slow you down.
No, I mean, I am as bullheaded as the rest of us. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and go, "Oh, I wasn't disappointed." Yeah, I was disappointed, but you know what? There's always another day, and, hopefully it'll work out a lot better for us this year. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's always another horse show, you know,
Absolutely.
there's always another opportunity. I think sometimes we get wrapped up in, like, the FOMO of,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
but, like, I was so excited for this one."
Sure.
Like, this this one had to happen for me, and it's really easy to just get too wrapped up into that.
And thinking about that too, I know we're closing up, but I had a really traumatic thing happen when I was 23, which is like 11 years ago, but I was really prepped for the world show. Lauren knows this horse, my heart horse, Little Eileen.
Yeah.
Had I had perfect draws for the reining. It was right when the ranch horse was coming in, had great, setups there. I was, in tip-top shape. My horse was in tip-top shape. And she unfortunately, right before we left, she had a back bowed tendon. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and that's not that common in reiners.
No.
Yeah, it's common in the hunters and the jumpers.
Yeah.
So that was devastating. That was kind of like the first injury that really rocked my world. And, having her be rehabbed and learning through that, going, I literally did everything right and it still can go wrong. It definitely keeps you grounded because I felt so consumed of getting her ready for the world show and myself ready that, you just kind of, life happens and here we are again, 11, 12 years later, and it happened to me this time, not my horse. But yeah, just life happens.
Yeah, it's not always perfect. It's
No,
always something that's gonna happen.
no. And when you plan, God laughs. It's like,
No kidding.
okay, cool. That was not on the bingo card this year, but
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
what makes a great writer is the ability to adapt, and
Yeah.
that's what it's like you've done several times.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, you both are very talented as well. So it's all in good company.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, all linked in the podcast notes. We'll see you next time. The information provided by Elevate Your Ride is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical or professional advice. While we discuss health and fitness topics related to equestrians, the content provided through this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. The views expressed by the host and guests on Elevate Your Ride are their own and should not be taken as professional guidance. We strive to provide accurate and up to date information, but we cannot guarantee that the information will be applicable to every individual listener or that it reflects the most current research or guidelines. Before making any changes to your health and fitness routine, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual needs and circumstances. Elevate Your Ride and its creators will not be liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, special, exemplary, or other damages arising from the use of information on this podcast. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. We are committed to providing high quality content and appreciate your trust in us as a source of information for your health and fitness journey.